going to talk about the climate change and its science. What is a climate change? Climate change includes both global warming, driven by human-induced emissions of greenhouse gases, and the resulting large-scale shifts in weather patterns. And let's move on to the science of climate change. The average temperature of the Earth is rising, but that's not the only way we can tell the climate is changing. In fact, the signs are all around us. Observations and measurements from all over the world provide strong evidence that the climate has already started to change. And here are some examples of signs of a climate change. Number 1. Drought. A drought is a prolonged period of abnormally low rainfall leading to a shortage of water. Number 2. A wilder weather. A wilder weather is a tropical storms becoming more severe due to warmer ocean water temperatures. And last one is rising sea level. Rising sea level are rising, threatening coastal communities and estuarine ecosystems.
What exactly is climate change? Well, climate change is defined as a long-term change in the Earth's overall temperature with massive and permanent ramifications. Climate scientists believe that this isn't caused naturally by the Earth but by human activity. Earth's atmosphere consists of gases such as oxygen, nitrogen, and other gases known as greenhouse gases like carbon dioxide, nitrous oxide, and methane. Some of the main human activity that emits greenhouse gases are fossil fuel burning, animals agriculture, deforestation, waste and recycled pollution. Burning fossil fuels like coal, oil, and natural gas as well as gasoline for some of the largest pollutants of carbon emissions. Not only that, but when fossil fuels are burned and their gas is mixed with heat, they create smog. But why should we care about global warming and climate increasing? The Earth temperature has risen 1.5 degrees Fahrenheit over the past century and is projected to rise another 0.5 to 8.6 degrees Fahrenheit over the next 100 years. Climate change also causes more frequent and intense natural disasters such as hurricanes, floods, tornadoes, and heat waves. So the question is, how do we stop this? Instead of burning fossil fuels, we need to convert to renewable energy such as solar and wind power. If we use more reusable and renewable resources, this will reduce the amount of energy needed to create new products. This will also reduce the massive amount of landfill dumping that we do. That all sounds like great, efficient, and healthy ideas. Lower. What is lower? Lower is an acronym for 5 factors that affects climate. L stands for latitude. It depends on how close or how far it is to the equator. This is the most important and the area that is affected. O stands for ocean currents. Certain ocean currents have different temperatures. Warm ocean currents warm the air above it, which warms the coast. Cold ocean currents cool the air above it, which cools the coast. This helps keep the coast at a consistent temperature. W stands for wind and air masses. Heated ground causes air to rise, which results in lower air pressure. As it rises, it cools and descends to the ground, resulting in high air pressure. This cycle repeats, creating wind. These air masses absorb the climate of the air below it. E stands for elevation. The higher up you are, the colder and drier it will be. When air rises, it expands due to low air pressure, which causes it to cool. R stands for relief. The differences in the elevation inland, as air is forced to rise over a piece of land, example, a mountain. The temperature decreases and condensation increases. As it condensates, water droplets get bigger and heavier and are forced to fall. Once the air mass goes over the mountain, the temperature and evaporation increases, but condensation decreases, resulting in a halt in precipitation and rain shadow.
We all know that climate change is everyone's problems. Neither governments nor scientists can fix it. Climate change is happening because of our lifestyle, so we must learn how to change our lifestyle to prevent it. Your actions matter, big or small. It can help our Earth to be a better place. Here are some ways to prevent climate change. First is conserve heat. Conserve heat. Consider installing programmable thermostats, for it can lessen your bills and at the same time it can conserve heat. Another way is to plant trees on the sunny side of your home, closing off unused rooms, and keeping your furnace and AC filters clean. Second one is conserve electricity. Conserve electricity. Here are some ways to preserve it. Unplug chargers for cell phones and other appliances when not in use. Get in habit of turning lights and appliances off, and use energy efficiency light bulbs. It may not be obvious, but there's a direct connection between our energy and the environment. Third is reduce waste. Reduce waste. One of the best things you can do is recycle some products and buy recycled products. Choose products that have less packaging, reuse, repair, or donate to the charity, so that we can conserve space in our landfills and reduce the need to build more landfills. Fourth is conserve water. Conserve water. We can conserve water by taking shorter shower, install a blanket on your hot water heater, and wash laundry in a cold water. Because using less warm water makes it possible to reduce greenhouse gas emissions. And it avoids the need to generate energy to heat the water. Fifth is travel green. Travel green. Ditch the car, instead, use your bike or walk to places close by. Consider using public transport when you want to go somewhere far. The more we avoid pollution, the less environmental issue. Glaciers have shrunk. Ice on rivers and lakes is breaking up earlier. Plant and animal ranges have shifted and trees are flowering sooner. Heat waves caused by global warming present greater risk of heat-related illness and death, most frequently among people who have diabetes, who are elderly or are very young. The direct and indirect effects of climate change on human health are becoming increasingly obvious. Direct effects include exposure to extreme weather events such as heat waves. Indirect effects include disruption to economic and social activity, which can impact health if, for example, it reduces people's ability to earn a livelihood. Other health-related effects arise from environmental degradation, diseases carried by vectors, food and waterborne infections, changes to food security, and impacts on mental health. In some cases there can be health benefits, but in the clear majority of observed and predicted cases, the health impacts of climate change are negative. The Philippines is highly vulnerable to the impacts of climate change, including sea level rise, increased frequency of extreme weather events, rising temperatures and extreme rainfall. This is due to its high exposure to natural hazards, cyclones, landslides, floods, droughts, dependence on climate-sensitive natural resources and vast coastlines where all major cities and the majority of the population reside. The Philippines lies in the world's most cyclone-prone region, averaging 19 to 20 cyclones each year, of which 7 to 9 make landfall. Sea levels in the Philippines are rising faster than the global average, increasing the hazard posed by storm surges and threatening permanent inundation of low-lying areas. A rich yet increasingly depleted natural and marine resources base supports livelihoods through fisheries, agriculture, forestry, energy, mining and tourism, and provides critical ecosystem services such as shoreline protection, flood control, soil stability and habitats for biodiversity.